I want to talk about the Switch 2 price before anything else because this is important, and I think we all know that deep in our hearts why this is important. So, the Switch 2 will cost $450 with a $500 bundle with the new Mario Kart World. And I think a lot of people can understand this because the Switch 2 seems quite a bit more powerful than we first thought. Frankly, I was hoping for the $400. I feel like that would have been overall just a bit better, but I'm also completely and totally fine with the $450 SKU. There's a lot of reasons why Nintendo would want to have a slightly more expensive console, especially when it's a slightly just higher quality product. That's not the problem though, is it? The real problem is, of course, the $80 games. Or, I guess, let's be more accurate here, the $80 game that might be $90 physical, that is also included in a bundle that would make it around $50. So, already it's confusing, since I don't think we actually got a specific USD amount, at least not when I'm recording this. It's all translated from euros and whatnot. For now, I'm just going to assume that the $80 digital, $90 physical is just the real amount, assuming pretty much all the information we have is true so far. Yeah, that stings. That does sting quite a bit. I first think I have to mention that I will absolutely be buying the Switch 2, without any questions. Probably the bundle, but I am in a position where I am completely and totally capable of purchasing a Switch 2, plus all the accessories, plus any games I want. I can buy any Switch games, I can buy the entire system, the full 500, and then buy another Mario Kart. Not a lot of people can say that. I think not many can. I am very lucky because I currently have a job that is a bit, the most stable thing in the world, but I do have a job, and I'm also living with my parents who are pretty well off, which means I don't truly have to worry about this stuff all that much. And with all that being said, even for me, $80 is a lot, man. For one game, $80 is a lot. That's a harsh decision. And they put it on the game that of course everybody is gonna want, or anybody who would at all be interested in the Switch 2 is gonna want, the Mario Kart. Of course they put it on the Mario Kart, because that just makes sense, but man, if it wasn't for the bundle, I would still probably buy it, but then what about the other games? How many $80 games can I really take on the chin? I'll buy the $80 Mario Kart, and then I'll buy the $70 DK game, but am I gonna buy Metroid Prime 4? I'm not super into that series, and I would love to be a fan, but am I really going to take another $60, $70, $80, punch on the mouth for that? That's a, you know what I'm saying? It's sad, man. Because everybody was so excited during the Direct, because really, there wasn't much for people to complain about. There was some stuff. The game that should be very obviously the pack-in game wasn't pack-in. That was strange. And even if it's only $5, it's still really $5 for something that should totally be free? And then I know some people were a bit upset about the micro SD card stuff. I don't really care about that, especially since I don't swap out micro SDs. I don't know, maybe it's the way I play, but I'm not playing 20 different games that I need to swap out constantly. I'll just undownload one game and then download another. It's not that big of a deal. At least for now, until, storefront goes down. But that's gonna be in a long time, and probably by then the price is gonna be going down. Or maybe the recession will be over. And honestly, same thing can be said about the price of the games. Maybe in 5-6 years, the recession's gonna be over, and paying $70 for a game is oh, whatever, you know, $70, that's fine. Most people have $70 they can waste. Or like $80, yeah, that's a bit expensive, but like most people can still handle that handily. If the economy was better, this wouldn't be that big of a deal. We've been in this downward spiral where things have just been stagnating for at least like a quarter of a century. Things have only been getting worse and worse slowly, with intermittent massive crashes. I think it's very obvious that Nintendo wants the safety of having higher price games. They want those extra $10, $20 just in case. They think that enough people will continue to purchase games that that's worth it, and the extra money is worth it. And quite frankly, going into recession, yeah, it probably is worth it on the business end. Man, could they not have waited for one more game? Just the next Zelda, or whatever, like Animal Crossing, maybe that'll be $80. They could have just waited a few months and done it for that game. Be like, look at this, and then instead of talking about this right after the direct, when quite frankly, we should be talking about all these amazing games that we're seeing. Instead, we have to talk about the price because, you know, it's genuinely unfathomable, frankly. We didn't have to do that. We could have been so much happier, man. I want to see Nintendo succeed. And I know some people won't understand where I'm coming from with this, but Nintendo, I see them as a genuinely great company. Like, great as in, they make good games. And like, you can talk about the other parts of their business, but they make good games, and they have for a long time. And even in their darkest periods, which might just be right now, they're still making great games. Mario Kart World looks absolutely amazing. Donkey Kong looks incredible. They're making a new Tomodachi Life for, like, what? New Tomodachi Life? New Kirby Air Ride? New Rhythm Heaven? These games, there's entirely the possibility, like, if they were, you know, Sony, these games wouldn't exist. That's not what Sony does, but that's what Nintendo does. And these sort of extremely weird experimental stuff, this super exaggerated, fun, interesting stuff, these smaller experiences, this is why I like Nintendo. They're really the only AAA developers doing this sort of stuff. At least right now. Everybody else is going bigger and bigger. And yeah, Nintendo is also going bigger, but they're doing it in a way that feels more smart, more soulful, maybe? Which is why it sucks when it's the price that's the problem. It's the one thing that could completely ruin these games, and it's the one thing that, quite frankly, has basically nothing to do with the games themselves. Would Nintendo succeeding, that this entire stuff blows over and people just sort of accept $70 and $80 games, is that really what we want? Like, yeah, Nintendo would be doing better, and I think that would be good in some ways, but it's also like, you know, is this really the future we want? But I also don't want Nintendo to just bowl over and fail and go back to the Wii U era, you know? Because, oh, that was not a good time. And a lot of that because they were under stress. It's just not a good situation to be in, and it feels so avoidable. I'll be playing these games when they come out. I can admit that. And I can also admit that I don't really care about what the price is. But I can also admit that I'm pretty much in a minority about that. Like, there are plenty of people who just aren't in the financial situation to be able to take a few hits like that. And like, what about parents? Are they really going to let their kid buy these super expensive games? Is that really what we're coming to? In the end, I just want to, like, enjoy these games, enjoy this direct for what it was. But I can't. I really can't. And that sucks. That's sad. You know, I want to be the sort of person that will, like, stand up to this, say no, $80 games, that's the end of the line. But I'm not, you know? And how many more of me are they gonna be? They're just gonna say, yeah, it sucks, but I want to play my Mario Kart. Has Nintendo grabbed us by the balls? Because even at its worst, I still think Nintendo is doing far better than both Sony and Xbox. The video industry is not going well. The everything industry is not going well. The economy seems to be doing really poorly. So I guess celebrate the little victories? I don't know. God. I want to make happy videos.